I stood there, in the heart of what was once a desolate, polluted wasteland, now transformed into a lush, thriving oasis. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the hum of nature's symphony. This was my masterpiece, my redemption, and the culmination of a journey that had begun in the ashes of ridicule and dismissal. I had returned home, not as the embarrassment they had once labeled me, but as a beacon of hope and transformation. The journey had been arduous, a relentless pursuit fueled by the sting of rejection and an unwavering resolve to prove my worth. After being publicly dismissed and ridiculed by my academic peers for my unconventional research on regenerative agriculture, I was left with two choices: succumb to the weight of their derision or rise above it. I chose the latter. Regenerative agriculture? My father had scoffed, his voice dripping with disdain. That's just a fancy term for playing in the dirt. You'll never amount to anything with such a foolish pursuit. My mother had been equally dismissive, her eyes filled with a mix of pity and contempt. "You're an embarrassment to this family," she had said, her words cutting deeper than any knife. My siblings had joined in, their laughter echoing through the halls of our home. A constant reminder of their disbelief in my abilities. But I refused to let their skepticism define me. I turned my back on their ridicule and set out on a solitary journey, determined to prove that healing the soil could heal the city. I started small, working on abandoned lots and neglected parks, transforming them into vibrant, green spaces. The initial ridicule had been overwhelming. Back to the earth fad, they had sneered, their laughter echoing through the academic halls. But I persisted, driven by a vision that went beyond their narrow-mindedness. Years passed, and my efforts began to bear fruit. The barren lands I had once toiled over were now teeming with life. The air was cleaner, the water purer, and the communities thrived in the midst of nature's bounty. My work had proven that healing the soil could indeed heal the city, and the world was taking notice. And now, here I was, standing in the heart of my greatest achievement. Surrounded by the lush greenery that was a testament to my unwavering belief in my dream, I had returned home, not to seek validation, but to offer it, to show my family that their ridicule had only fueled my determination, that their disbelief had only strengthened my resolve. As I stood there, I heard the familiar sound of a car pulling up. I turned to see my family, their faces a mix of curiosity and apprehension. They stepped out of the car, their eyes widening as they took in the sight before them. The once barren land was now a thriving ecosystem, a testament to the power of regenerative agriculture. My father was the first to speak, his voice barely above a whisper. Is this your doing?" he asked, his eyes filled with a mixture of awe and disbelief. I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. "Yes, it is," I replied, my voice steady and confident. My mother's eyes filled with tears as she looked around, taking in the beauty of the transformed landscape. I had no idea," she stammered, her voice choked with emotion. "I thought you were chasing a foolish dream, but this is incredible." My siblings, too, were speechless, their eyes wide with wonder as they took in the sight before them. The ridicule that had once filled their voices was now replaced with a profound sense of awe and respect. I turned to face them, my heart filled with a sense of triumph and redemption. "This is what I've been working towards," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "This is the power of regenerative agriculture. It's not just about healing the soil. It's about healing the city, healing the communities, and healing ourselves." My family stood there, their faces a mix of emotion as they took in the magnitude of my achievement. They had once mocked my dreams, dismissed my pursuits, and labeled me an embarrassment. But now they stood in the midst of my triumph. witnessing firsthand the power of my vision and the depth of my determination. As I looked at them, I saw the consequences of their past derision reflected in their eyes. They had underestimated me, dismissed my dreams, and ridiculed my pursuits. But in doing so, they had only fueled my determination, strengthened my resolve, and pushed me to achieve the impossible. In that moment, I felt a profound sense of catharsis, a cleansing of the wounds that had once festered in my heart. I had returned home, not to seek revenge, but to offer redemption, to show my family that their ridicule had only made me stronger, that their disbelief had only fueled my determination, and that their dismissal had only pushed me to achieve the impossible. As we stood there, surrounded by the lush greenery of my achievement, I saw the transformation in their eyes. The ridicule was gone, replaced with a profound sense of respect and admiration. They had witnessed firsthand the power of my vision, the depth of my determination, and the magnitude of my triumph. And in that moment, I knew that I had not only healed the soil, but had also healed the wounds of the past. I had proven that my dreams were not foolish, that my pursuits were not futile, and that my determination was unyielding. I had returned home, not as the embarrassment they had once labeled me, but as a beacon of hope and transformation. As we stood there, surrounded by the beauty of my achievement, I turned to my family, my heart filled with a sense of triumph and redemption. "This is what I've been working towards," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "This is the power of regenerative agriculture. It's not just about healing the soil. It's about healing the city, healing the communities, and healing ourselves." And with those words, I knew that I had not only achieved my dream, but had also offered my family a chance at redemption, a chance to see the power of belief, the strength of determination, and the beauty of transformation. And in that moment, I knew that I had truly come home.